Earlier this year, I was on Birkö in Sweden. I was giving a workshop in creating Icelandic magical staves, and I also had a plant walk around the island. This was all for the Brika Historical Tattoo Festival that's held there each summer. This place is incredible. It's full of ancient burial mounds and standing stones, and the island is home to the Viking Museum and Village. While I was there, I had the chance to practice some Útiseta on some of these ancient mounds, and it was amazing. The land there feels incredible, very much like Iceland in how alive it is. And given how old the place is, it doesn't feel asleep in the same way that lots of burial mounds do in places like Sussex in the UK. So I wanted to share just a couple of videos of Útiseta and how I go about this practice. I often start by walking 3 times around the mound or the stone that I'm working with. This is a technique that pops up in a bunch of different folklore. So you walk 3 times around, and each time you ask the spirit of this place, please may I be here, please may I be here, please may I be here. And you need to receive 3 yeses, otherwise it's not considered welcome. Luckily it was considered welcome for each place that I did this, so then I will sit with my cloak, it's actually a scarf, a black scarf that I use, but it's a very useful bit of ritual material. I place it over my head often. I'll often cover my face too. A lot of the folklore around Útiseta involves sitting completely covered in a cloak or a bit of fabric, often a shroud as well, particularly shrouds that have touched dead bodies or been used to cover dead bodies is what the folklore says. This is just a regular scarf from H&M, but it does what it needs to do, so that's ideal. So I just sit with the scarf covering my head, and I commune with the spirits. This often happens without really me even verbalizing anything. I'm just putting out my energy and receiving what I receive from them, which sounds incredibly hippy-dippy, but it is pretty practical and down-to-earth in actuality. While I was sat at this first stone, the rain started. Normally the whole process, I will sit there no matter what is going on. So whether it starts snowing, whether it starts hailing, whatever it is. So the rain doesn't usually deter me. And then I walked off to the other side of the island, found some more burial mounds, and repeated my practice there. The main cluster of mounds are not far from the museum, so it's very easy to go and find them if you're just visiting for the day. And then a little bit further across one of the marked paths, there's another area on the other side of the north of the island with a bunch more burial mounds as well. But yeah, so then I repeat the same process. Sometimes my head is covered, sometimes it's not. Depends on how it feels. And yeah, then around the island I found a bunch of different plants that I recognized, some that I use in ceremony. I didn't gather any of these plants on Birkö. I did ask, and it didn't seem as though I was allowed to, so I didn't take them. That's one of the most important aspects of gathering plants for magical practice for me, is receiving an absolute 100% yes before you take anything or before anything is used. There were some amazing junipers and hawthorns that had grown pretty big all around the island. One hawthorn tree in particular that's bigger than any hawthorn I've ever seen, so that was very cool. And yeah, then here I am, just sitting again, covering my head this time, muttering some words of thanks before I get going, and then sitting out to see what I receive. And often within my practice there's a lot that we can't really share. There's a lot that I do share online, but there's a lot that we're not really supposed to be sharing in a public way. But At least what I can say is a lot of the time this Útiseta can be incredibly profound, and the information that you receive from spirits of place is often, in my opinion, as good as, if not better than, a lot of information that you'll read in books. So I very highly recommend adding this practice to part of your spiritual work. So yeah, then I packed up and I headed back to the camp, and that was that.